My grandfather was a photographer, not famous, just dedicated. He documented everything: weddings, funerals, street scenes, family dinners. When he died in 1962, he left behind over 40,000 negatives. They sat in boxes in my father's basement for 60 years. When my father passed, the boxes came to me. I'd always been curious about them. Family history, preserved in silver and cellulose. I decided to digitize them. 40,000 windows into the past. The first few rolls were exactly what I expected. Street scenes from Pittsburgh, 1947. A wedding in 1951. Children playing in a park. The world of my father's childhood, frozen in monochrome. I found photos of my father as a boy, my grandmother young and smiling, my grandfather himself in a mirror, camera raised. Everything was consistent with his lifetime, 1909 to 1962. Then I found roll 7847. The first few frames were normal, a Christmas dinner, dated December 1955. But the next frame made me stop. It showed a car I recognized, a 1978 Oldsmobile, my father's car, the one he bought when I was 12. I thought it was a mistake. Maybe a different roll had gotten mixed in, but the negatives were sequential. Christmas 1955. Then the Oldsmobile parked on a street I knew, the street where I grew up, the house number visible 247. We didn't move there until 1974. I kept scanning. The next frame showed the interior of our house, a television playing something. I could make out the image. It was the moon landing, July 1969, 7 years after my grandfather died. I pulled more rolls at random. Most were normal. His lifetime, his world. But scattered throughout, like tumors, were photographs of the future. Our future, his family's future, moments he couldn't possibly have captured. My parents' wedding in 1966, 4 years after his death. My birth in 1972. My first day of school. My high school graduation. My wedding. All on negatives that had been sitting in his basement since before any of it happened. I started keeping a log, cross-referencing the roll numbers with dates I could verify. The pattern was clear. Grandfather photographed our family's major moments, but only our family. Nothing about the wider world. Just us. Worried, I found a roll labeled October 1959. Inside were photos of my father's house. Not his childhood home, but the house where he lived as an adult, the house where he died last year. And there in the window looking out, my father, old. The way he looked in his final years, standing at a window that didn't exist yet, in a house that wouldn't be built for another 30 years, photographed by a man who had been dead for 60. I called my sister. Asked if grandfather had ever mentioned anything strange about his photography. He used to say he could see what was coming. She said, Mom thought he was being poetic. Maybe he wasn't. I found his journals next, not hidden, just packed away with the negatives. He wrote about his gift. The camera let him see forward, he claimed. Not always, not on command. But sometimes when he pointed it at family, the light showed him their future. He documented everything because he didn't know what mattered. Didn't know which photograph would reveal the future. So he took them all. Every moment, every angle. Hoping to see what was coming. The journal entries got darker toward the end. I see too much now, he wrote in 1961. The camera shows me things I don't want to know. I see the end of everyone I love. And I can't look away. I found the roll dated June 1962. His final month. The images showed his own funeral. Mourners I recognized. My grandmother. My father as a young man. Photographs of his own death developed before it happened. The last frame on that roll wasn't his funeral. It was later. Much later. I'm in it. I'm old. Older than I am now. And I'm looking at something with an expression of absolute terror. The date written on the negative border. December 2037. I don't know what I'm looking at in that photo. The angle doesn't show what I see, only my reaction to it. But grandfather saw it. 60 years before it happens, he saw me terrified. And he recorded it, preserved it, passed it down to me. I've scanned 20,000 negatives now. The future photographs keep appearing. My daughter's college graduation, my wife's 65th birthday, my grandson's first steps, and I don't have a grandson yet. The timeline extends forward event by event, but there's a gap, a year with no photographs. No matter how many rolls I scan, nothing from 2029. It's blank, like someone cut that year out of the timeline, or like nothing worth photographing happens. Scared, or like everything stops. I try not to think about what a blank year means. Why grandfather's camera would show everything except that single year. What could make a whole year invisible? I keep scanning. What else can I do? The photographs exist. The future is already recorded. My grandfather saw my entire life before I lived it, and now I'm seeing glimpses of what's still to come. Sometimes I find photographs of moments I remember. My 10th birthday, my first kiss, my father's hand on my shoulder at his own father's grave. Memories I thought were mine alone, witnessed and preserved by a dead man 60 years ago. I wonder what he felt seeing his grandson before I was born. Watching me grow up through a viewfinder, one impossible frame at a time. Was it love? Horror? Both? My daughter asked me recently why I spend so much time with the old photographs. I told her I was preserving family history. I didn't tell her that I've seen her wedding photos, and they haven't happened yet. I haven't found the photo of my own death yet. Maybe grandfather couldn't bear to take it. Or maybe it's in one of the 20,000 rolls I haven't scanned, waiting for me like everything else. I bought a camera last week, the same model grandfather used. A 1947 Leica. I don't know why. I take photographs of my children, my wife, the moments I want to remember. And sometimes, late at night, I develop them, looking for something that shouldn't be there, hoping to see, afraid to see, unable to stop looking.